We'll now be going over the answers to the non-Mendelian genetics problem-solving practice. So, for the first, it says to define incomplete dominance. That's a form of inheritance where the allele for one trait is not completely expressed over the other allele. So the heterozygous is a blend. So on your worksheet, this was a red snapdragon flower. That's a white snapdragon flower. And then they would produce a pink flower. These are 4 o'clock flowers, but the pattern of inheritance is the same. The name of these flowers are Japanese 4 o'clock flowers. So if we say that R is for the red allele and W is for the white allele, R is red, WW is white, RW is pink. If we did say instead that R is for the red allele and little r is for the white allele, then capital R is red, little r is white, and capital R, little r is pink. That would be the genotypes in those cases. So for number 3A, let's say we cross a red and a white plant. This would be how we set up our square RRWW, and they are all RW. So we would end up with 0 reds, 4 pinks, 0 whites, and that's basically a 4-to-0 ratio. For 3B, if we cross a white and a pink plant, that is WW crossed with RW. So we get 2 pinks and 2 whites. So that's a 2-to-2 ratio. That does reduce to 1-to-1. For 3C, if we cross a red plant, that's RR, and a pink plant, that's RW, the cross that we get, we RR, RW, RW. So we get 2 reds and 2 pinks. So the phenotypic ratio there is 2-to-2. That reduces to 1-to-1. And if we cross 2 pink plants together, then that's RW with RW. So we get 1 red, 2 pinks, and 1 white. So the phenotypic ratio there is 1-to-2-to-1. For number 4, it is a different trait in that case. In some cats, the gene for tail length shows incomplete dominance. Cats with long tails and those with no tails are homozygous for the respective alleles. Cats with 1 long tail allele and 1 with no long tail allele have short tails. Predict the phenotypic ratio of a cross between all the following. So here I put big L equals the long tail and big N equals the no tail. I guess, after we watch the Amoeba Sisters video on Edpuzzle, we have this here as well. If we put big L for long tail and a little l for no tail, we would just need to know that, going back here, we know that big L would be for a long-tailed cat. Big N is for a cat with no tail, but one of each allele would be a cat with a short tail. All right, so back up to what I was saying before, is if we did use the same letter, like big L is for long and little l is for no tail, then big L is for a cat with a long tail. Little L is for a cat with no tail, and then big L, little l is for a cat with a short tail. So, I'm going to be using the 2 different letters. All right, so back to here. So I have a long tail cat, LL, a cat with no tail, NN, and they are all LN, so that means they have a short tail. So that's a 4-to-0 ratio. For 4B, if I have a long-tail cat and a short-tail cat, my long-tail cat is LL, the short-tail cat is LN. So I get 2 long-tail cats and 2 short-tail cats, 2-to-2 ratio. That reduces to 1-to-1. If I have a short-tailed cat and a cat with no tail, the short-tailed cat is LN, the cat with no tail is NN. So I get 2 short tails, 2 no tails. That reduces to 1-to-1. If I have two short tail cats, that's LN crossed with LN. And I get one long, two short, one that is no tail. So it's a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. For the Punnett squares, if I wanted to set it up with just the other letter, I mean, in this case, it's just notation. It's just a difference in notation. And again, that's what the Amoeba sisters were talking about in their video on this subject, which is in the Ed Puzzle. But for here, I would just set up the cross with the letters as I'm writing them in purple right here. And I would get the same results. It's just with different notation. Okay.